Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Always so happy to find you here. Welcome to any new subscribers. I do upload on Mondays, Thursdays, and a very short upload on Fridays called Philosophically Fridays to kick off our weekend. I'm happy to have you here. I hope you stay for a good long while. I am wanting to address this documentary that's, well, here it's being shown on the Discovery Channel. And so wherever you are seeing it or have seen it, called Quiet on the Set. It's the documentary based on child actors, not just actors, but also singers that are coming up on Nickelodeon. And it's regarding their interaction with Dan Schneider at the time. Now, I'm sure you may have seen it already, but I will drop information about it in the description box. It was extremely very disturbing to me. I actually had to turn it off the first time, and then I went back. I was curious because I was concerned about the children. These are kids. These are kids underage. I was concerned about how things actually were reported for them and how what was done about their issues. So it's about Dan Schneider, who Nickelodeon had made a god. In my words, he was the Harvey Weinstein, but for kids. And Nickelodeon had basically made a god out of this man. He was having relationships with a lot of the kids that were growing up, some even to this day, famous names that we recognize and know. And I won't mention any of those. I'll just let you discover that on your own. But it was extremely bothersome to me. Well, of course it is for anybody, for you, I'm sure. Anytime we take advantage of a child, they're trapped three ways. One, they don't really know what to call what is happening to them. They're unfamiliar with those acts. And as a result of that, they often stay quiet because they don't know how to verbalize it. They may be in shock about what happened, but they don't know what it is. And unfortunately, it stays with them as they grow up. You can't unchange it. I just hate it. And I hate when I hear any reports of it still or again. Because that means we did nothing about it. You hear it with the Catholic Church often, the altar boys. You hear it with the entertainment industry. You hear it with sometimes a kid's babysitter. It could be boy or girl kid. The babysitter took advantage of it. This stays with them up into adulthood. And it gets what I call in their basement, set in their basement. The shame of it, but the hatred of it at the same time. So they don't know how to have mature, healthy relationships because that's been sitting in them. It's just a horrible thing in my view. It's a horrible thing. Now, having said that, I come with that frame set watching this, and I see the reports of these now adult kids that they had made complaints to Nickelodeon, and nothing was done about it. Nothing definitive was done about it. And they were often threatened, as Hollywood does, that their career would be lost. So it's blackmailing them. In many instances, this Dan Schneider guy was calling these kids when they were no longer even on the set. and demanding they come to his beck and call and fulfill his needs. He would often even, this Dan Schneider guy, would often even have the complaining parents removed off of set because they were a disturbance. Well, let me say this first to you and to anyone. There is never a time when a parent of a child should be removed or can be removed by law. You can never not tell me where not to be with my child, as long as they're a child. So that part right there. Now, I'm careful to say that because it would seem, it can come across that the parents should have demanded better. But when you're in that industry, sometimes it is the standards of the set where you don't want the parent too overly involved because the kid can't focus. I get that part. But to say I can't be where my child is to govern what happens to him or her, no, ain't gonna happen. And so these complaints begin to come, and I think about the complaints that the gymnast, the US gymnast had, the complaints of the gynecologist at USC for the athletes that had to get checked, the inappropriate touching and for altar boys, the inappropriate engagement and sex with a minor for a babysitter to a child. All of this, it should be so harsh, the penalty for doing that nobody else would even think of it the next time, is what I'm saying. Because in my mind, I would prefer to just skip justice. It takes too long. Just give me an hour with that person. Not even an hour. Just send the person to me. No, seriously. Seriously. Send the person to me that inappropriately touch your child, my child, any other child. In defense of a child, send the person to me. See the tiger mom come out. Because there's no ever reason for you to do that. It's just that, you see the energy? The energy you're hearing is the protective mode of a person that wants to protect someone that can't protect themselves, and that's a child against an adult. But an adult against an adult, that's equal playing field. Send the person to me. Why are you waiting on justice? Justice takes too long. And most of the time, the end result ain't enough for you. Send the person to me. Now, I know it sounds mean girl, but this is a time I could be mean girl. It was just disturbing. Now, I'm saying that to say this. I'm almost promoting you see it. I'm promoting you see it because it's worth knowing, not worth supporting. That somebody that could be so audacious and bold and direct in their attempts. And it's always a person that actually looks bullyish. Now you go, what does the bully look like? They come in so many different. This Dan Schneider looks bullyish. He had the bold audacity to make calls to the kids he hadn't touched and say, did I ever do that to you? Well, you hadn't touched them. This is just nonsense. And so it's like I said, it's very disturbing to me, but I just felt that you may want to see for yourself because I can't describe it well enough. You have to take it in yourself. So many of the kids now that are adults, and many of them, once you see this, are names that we would recognize. But their story, when they tell their story, you can actually see them rescind back to childhood in the way that felt back then. So there's the scar tissue. And for any person that got fondled with, touched inappropriately, made to have sex before your rightful age to do so knowingly and willingly, it's a harsh, hard word to hear, but that's child rape. If it was your babysitter, if it was someone at church, if it was a relative, that's child rape. And may the harshest penalty be found unto you for doing it, whoever you are. Okay? I hope you've gotten this far. Please click subscribe, and I'll see you maybe on a happier note. I'm so bothered by this documentary, but see it for yourself. And I'll see you next time. Good night. Kiss your kids extra for me. Give your kids a kiss. Give your kids a kiss and a hug for me. Seriously. Good night.